Sleep and Dreams. Secrets of Nightly Rest. Introduction. The mysterious third of life. Imagine this. Approximately 1/3 of our lives is spent in a state that remains one of science's greatest mysteries. Every night, our brains embark on a complex journey that not only restores our bodies but also processes memories, regulates emotions, and even solves creative problems we couldn't crack while awake. Sleep is far from being a passive state of rest. It's an active, dynamic process during which our brains work as intensively as they do during waking hours. During these mysterious hours, processes occur that determine our health, mood, creativity, and ability to learn and remember. For centuries, humans have been fascinated by sleep and dreams. Ancient civilizations believed dreams were messages from gods or glimpses into future events. Today, modern neuroscience reveals sleep as a sophisticated biological process essential for survival, yet many of its secrets remain locked away in the darkness of night. Why do we sleep? Why do we dream? How does our brain decide when to rest and when to wake? These questions have driven decades of research, revealing that sleep is not simply the absence of wakefulness, but a fundamentally different state of consciousness with its own unique purposes and mechanisms. The consequences of sleep deprivation extend far beyond feeling tired. Poor sleep affects every aspect of human functioning, from immune system strength to emotional regulation, from memory consolidation to creative problem solving. In our modern world, where artificial light extends our days and digital devices demand constant attention, understanding sleep has become more crucial than ever. Today, we'll journey through the fascinating world of sleep and dreams, exploring the intricate stages of sleep, the mysterious realm of REM sleep, the biological clocks that govern our rest, and the various phenomena that can disrupt our nightly journey to restoration. Sleep stages, the architecture of night, the structure of sleep. Our nightly rest follows a precise structure consisting of several stages that cycle repeatedly throughout the night. Each complete cycle lasts approximately 90 to 120 minutes, and during a typical 8-hour sleep period, we experience 4 to 6 complete cycles. Sleep is broadly divided into two main categories: non-REM sleep, which consists of 3 distinct stages, and REM sleep, which stands for rapid eye movement sleep. Each stage serves unique functions and is characterized by specific brain wave patterns, physiological changes, and different levels of consciousness. Stage 1. The gateway to sleep. Stage 1 non-REM sleep is the lightest stage of sleep, serving as the transition between wakefulness and deeper sleep. This stage typically lasts only 5 to 10 minutes in healthy adults. During this phase, you're still relatively alert to your surroundings and can be easily awakened. Brain waves begin to slow from the active alpha and beta waves of wakefulness to the slower theta waves. Your muscles start to relax, your breathing becomes more regular, and your heart rate begins to decrease. You might experience hypnic jerks, those sudden muscle contractions that sometimes startle you awake just as you're falling asleep. Many people experience vivid imagery during stage 1 sleep, often consisting of fleeting thoughts, memories, or dreamlike sequences. These are called hypnagogic hallucinations, and they can be quite vivid and strange. You might feel like you're floating, falling, or experience brief conversations or visual scenes. This stage is crucial for the transition to deeper sleep, but spending too much time in stage 1 throughout the night often indicates poor sleep quality or sleep disorders. Healthy sleepers move relatively quickly through stage 1 into deeper, more restorative stages. Stage 2. Light sleep. Stage 2 non-REM sleep represents the first stage of true sleep and typically accounts for about 45% of total sleep time in healthy adults. This stage lasts from 10 to 25 minutes during the first cycle and gradually increases in duration with each subsequent cycle. The defining characteristics of stage 2 sleep are specific brain wave patterns called sleep spindles and K-complexes. Sleep spindles are brief bursts of rhythmic brain wave activity lasting 1 to 2 seconds, generated by the thalamus. K-complexes are large, slow brain waves that appear to serve as a protective mechanism, helping to maintain sleep by suppressing external stimuli that might otherwise wake you up. During stage 2 sleep, your body temperature drops, your heart rate slows further, and your breathing becomes more regular. Your muscles continue to relax, and you become less responsive to external sounds and movements. However, you can still be awakened relatively easily, especially by loud noises or significant disturbances. This stage plays important roles in memory consolidation and learning. Research suggests that sleep spindles are associated with learning and memory processing, helping to transfer information from temporary storage areas to more permanent memory locations in the brain. Stage 3, deep sleep. Stage 3 non-REM sleep, also called slow-wave sleep or deep sleep, is the most restorative stage of sleep. It's characterized by delta waves, the slowest brain waves with the highest amplitude. This stage is most prominent during the first half of the night and becomes shorter and less frequent in later sleep cycles. Deep sleep is when the most significant physical restoration occurs. Growth hormone is released in large quantities, promoting tissue repair, muscle growth, and bone development. The immune system is strengthened, and cellular waste products are cleared from the brain through the glymphatic system, a recently discovered waste clearance pathway that operates most efficiently during deep sleep. Waking someone from deep sleep is extremely difficult, and if awakened, they often feel groggy, disoriented, and confused, a state called sleep inertia that can last for minutes to hours. This grogginess explains why it's often harder to wake up during the first few hours of sleep when deep sleep is most prevalent. Children and teenagers spend significantly more time in deep sleep than adults, which supports their rapid growth and development. As we age, the amount of deep sleep naturally decreases, which may contribute to some of the sleep problems and reduced recovery abilities associated with aging. Deep sleep is also crucial for memory consolidation, particularly for declarative memories, facts, events, and information we can consciously recall. During this stage, the brain replays and strengthens neural pathways formed during the day, helping to move information from temporary to long-term memory storage. REM sleep, the dream theater. REM sleep is perhaps the most fascinating and mysterious stage of sleep. Named for the rapid eye movements that occur during this phase, REM sleep typically begins about 90 minutes after sleep onset and occurs in increasingly longer and more frequent episodes throughout the night. During REM sleep, brain activity becomes almost as intense as during wakefulness, yet the body experiences temporary paralysis called REM atonia. This paralysis prevents us from acting out our dreams, a protective mechanism that keeps us safe while our minds create vivid, often bizarre dream scenarios. The physiological changes during REM sleep are dramatic. Blood pressure and heart rate increase and become irregular, breathing becomes rapid and shallow, and body temperature regulation is temporarily suspended. Despite this increased physiological activity, the skeletal muscles remain paralyzed except for the diaphragm and eye muscles. REM sleep plays crucial roles in emotional regulation, creativity, and procedural memory consolidation. This is when we process emotional experiences from the day, often working through conflicts, fears, and desires in symbolic dream form. Many breakthrough discoveries and creative insights have reportedly occurred during or immediately after REM sleep periods. The content of REM dreams tends to be more vivid, complex, and emotionally intense than dreams from other sleep stages. These dreams often feature bizarre combinations of people, places, and events from our lives, mixed with impossible scenarios and strange logic that somehow makes sense within the dream context. REM sleep, the mysterious dream state. The discovery and characteristics. REM sleep was discovered in 1953 by Eugene Aserinsky and Nathaniel Kleitman, revolutionizing our understanding of sleep and dreams. Before this discovery, sleep was thought to be a uniform, passive state. The identification of REM sleep revealed that sleep consists of distinctly different phases with unique characteristics and functions. During a typical night, REM sleep accounts for about 20 to 25% of total sleep time in healthy adults. The first REM period usually lasts only a few minutes, but REM episodes become progressively longer and more frequent toward morning. The final REM period before awakening can last 30 to 60 minutes. The rapid eye movements that give this sleep stage its name aren't random. Research suggests these movements may correspond to the visual scanning of dream environments. When people are awakened during periods of intense eye movement, they often report more vivid and visually complex dreams. The neurobiology of REM sleep. The brain mechanisms controlling REM sleep are incredibly complex, involving multiple neurotransmitter systems and brain regions. The pons located in the brainstem serves as the primary REM sleep generator, sending signals that trigger the characteristic features of this sleep stage. During REM sleep, levels of norepinephrine, serotonin, and histamine, neurotransmitters associated with wakefulness and attention, drop to their lowest levels. Meanwhile, acetylcholine becomes highly active, contributing to the vivid, hallucinatory quality of REM dreams. The temporary paralysis of REM sleep results from active inhibition of motor neurons by the brainstem. This mechanism prevents the physical enactment of dream activities, which could be dangerous. When the system malfunctions, it can lead to REM sleep behavior disorder, where people act out their dreams, sometimes violently. Functions of REM sleep. Emotional processing. REM sleep appears to be crucial for emotional regulation and mental health. During REM dreams, we often process emotional experiences from the day in a safe, symbolic environment. This emotional processing may help us cope with stress, trauma, and daily challenges. Memory consolidation. While deep sleep is important for declarative memory, REM sleep seems particularly important for procedural memories, skills, habits, and emotional memories. The brain appears to integrate new information with existing knowledge during REM sleep. Brain development. REM sleep is especially prominent in infants and children, suggesting it plays a crucial role in brain development. Newborns spend about 50% of their sleep time in REM sleep, compared to 20 to 25% in adults. Creativity and problem solving. Many people report creative insights and problem-solving breakthroughs after REM-rich sleep periods. The unusual associations and bizarre connections made during REM dreams may help generate creative solutions to waking problems. REM sleep deprivation. When people are selectively deprived of REM sleep while allowed to sleep normally otherwise, they experience REM rebound, dramatically increased REM sleep when allowed to sleep undisturbed. This suggests that REM sleep serves essential functions that cannot be easily replaced by other sleep stages. REM deprivation can lead to increased emotional reactivity, difficulty with complex learning tasks, and problems with emotional regulation. Some antidepressant medications suppress REM sleep, and while this doesn't seem to cause obvious problems in the short term, the long-term effects remain unclear. Circadian rhythms. Our internal timekeepers. The master clock. Circadian rhythms are internal biological clocks that regulate numerous physiological and behavioral processes over approximately 24-hour cycles. The term circadian comes from the Latin words circa, around, and diem, day, reflecting these roughly daily cycles. The master circadian clock is located in the suprachiasmatic nucleus, SCN, a small region in the hypothalamus containing about 20,000 neurons. This biological timekeeper coordinates sleep-wake cycles, hormone production, body temperature fluctuations, and many other bodily functions. The SCN receives direct input from specialized light-sensitive cells in the retina, allowing it to synchronize with the external light-dark cycle. This is why exposure to light, particularly blue light, can significantly affect our sleep timing and quality. The molecular clockwork. At the cellular level, circadian rhythms are generated by complex molecular feedback loops involving several key genes and proteins. The clock and BMEL1 proteins work together to activate the transcription of period, PER, and cryptochrome, CRY genes. As PER and CRY proteins accumulate, they eventually inhibit their own production, creating a roughly 24-hour cycle. These molecular clocks exist not just in the SCN, but in virtually every cell in the body. The SCN serves as the master conductor, keeping all these peripheral clocks synchronized through hormonal and neural signals. Chronotypes. Individual differences in timing. People vary significantly in their natural circadian rhythms, leading to different chronotypes, individual preferences for sleep and wake times. These differences are partly genetic and partly influenced by age and environmental factors. Morning types, larks, naturally wake up early and feel most alert and energetic in the morning. They tend to go to bed earlier and may struggle with late-night activities. Evening types, owls, naturally stay up late and wake up later. They often feel groggy in the morning, but become increasingly alert as the day progresses, with peak performance in the evening. Intermediate types fall between these extremes and can adapt more easily to different schedules. Age significantly affects chronotype. Children are typically morning types, but there's a dramatic shift toward eveningness during adolescence. The teenage tendency to stay up late and sleep in isn't laziness. It's a biological reality driven by changes in circadian timing during puberty. Environmental influences on circadian rhythms. Light exposure. Light is the most powerful synchronizer of circadian rhythms. Bright light, especially blue light, 480 nanometers, strongly suppresses melatonin production and can shift circadian timing. This is why screen time before bed can interfere with sleep. Temperature. Environmental and body temperature cycles also influence circadian rhythms. Our core body temperature naturally drops in the evening, signaling bedtime, and rises in the morning to promote wakefulness. Social cues. Regular schedules, meal times, and social interactions also help synchronize our internal clocks. These Zeitgebers, time givers, can help maintain circadian rhythms even when light cues are limited. Exercise. Regular physical activity, particularly when performed at consistent times, can help strengthen circadian rhythms and improve sleep quality. Circadian rhythm disruption. Modern life frequently conflicts with our natural circadian rhythms, leading to various problems. Shift work sleep disorder. People who work nights or rotating shifts often struggle with circadian misalignment, leading to excessive sleepiness during work hours and difficulty sleeping during the day. Jet lag. Rapid travel across multiple time zones creates temporary circadian disruption until the internal clock can adjust to the new schedule. Social jet lag. The difference between natural sleep timing and socially imposed schedules, like early school or work start times, can create chronic circadian disruption. Light pollution. Artificial light exposure, particularly in the evening, can delay circadian rhythms and interfere with natural sleep timing. Sleep deprivation. The hidden epidemic. Acute sleep deprivation. Acute sleep deprivation, going without sleep for 24 hours or more, creates immediate and dramatic effects on physical and cognitive functioning. After just one night without sleep, reaction times slow, attention wavers, and decision-making abilities decline significantly. The effects worsen progressively with longer periods of sleep loss. After 17 to 19 hours without sleep, performance impairments are equivalent to being legally drunk. After several days without sleep, people begin experiencing microsleeps, brief episodes of sleep lasting seconds that occur involuntarily, often without awareness. Extended sleep deprivation can lead to hallucinations, paranoia, and severe cognitive impairment. The longest documented period without sleep is 264 hours, 11 days, achieved by Randy Gardner in 1964 under medical supervision. Though such extreme sleep deprivation is dangerous and not recommended. Chronic sleep restriction. More common and perhaps more dangerous is chronic sleep restriction. Consistently sleeping less than needed over weeks, months, or years. Many people don't realize they're chronically sleep deprived because they adapt to feeling tired, accepting it as normal. The recommended sleep duration for adults is 7 to 9 hours per night. But surveys consistently show that many people sleep less than this. Even modest sleep restriction, sleeping 6 hours instead of 8 for just 1 week, significantly impairs cognitive performance, emotional regulation, and physical health. Physical health consequences. Chronic sleep deprivation affects virtually every organ system. Immune function. Sleep loss weakens immune responses, making us more susceptible to infections. People who sleep less than 7 hours per night are 3 times more likely to catch a cold when exposed to the virus. Metabolic health. Sleep deprivation disrupts hormones that regulate hunger and metabolism. Leptin, which signals satiety, decreases while ghrelin, which signals hunger, increases, leading to increased appetite and weight gain. Cardiovascular health. Chronic sleep loss increases risks of high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. Sleep provides essential recovery time for the cardiovascular system. Endocrine function. Sleep is crucial for proper hormone regulation, including growth hormone, cortisol, and insulin. Sleep deprivation can contribute to diabetes, growth problems, and stress-related disorders. Cognitive and emotional effects. Attention and concentration. Sleep deprivation severely impairs sustained attention, making it difficult to focus on tasks for extended periods. This is why drowsy driving is so dangerous. Attention lapses, even for brief moments, can be fatal. Memory. Both formation and retrieval of memories suffer with sleep loss. Students who pull all-nighters often perform worse on exams than those who sleep adequately, despite spending more time studying. Executive function. Higher-order cognitive skills like planning, problem-solving, and decision-making are particularly vulnerable to sleep loss. This can lead to poor judgment and impulsive behavior. Emotional regulation. Sleep-deprived people experience more negative emotions and have difficulty controlling emotional responses. The amygdala, emotion center, becomes hyperactive while connections to the prefrontal cortex, rational control center, weaken. Societal impact. Sleep deprivation has enormous societal costs. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates that drowsy driving causes over 100,000 accidents annually in the United States alone. Workplace accidents, medical errors, and disasters like Chernobyl and the Exxon Valdez oil spill have been linked to sleep deprivation. The economic costs include healthcare expenses, lost productivity, absenteeism, and accidents. Some estimates suggest that sleep deprivation costs the U.S. economy over $400 billion annually. Insomnia. When sleep becomes elusive. Understanding insomnia. Insomnia is the most common sleep disorder, affecting approximately 30% of adults at some point in their lives. It's characterized by difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, or waking up too early, despite having adequate opportunity for sleep. The key criterion is that these sleep difficulties cause significant distress or impairment in daily functioning. Insomnia isn't just about sleep quantity. It's primarily about sleep quality and the daytime consequences of poor sleep. Some people with insomnia sleep for normal durations, but feel unrefreshed, while others genuinely sleep much less than they need. Types of insomnia. Acute insomnia is short-term sleep difficulty lasting days to weeks, often triggered by stress, travel, illness, or major life changes. Most people experience acute insomnia at some point, and it usually resolves without treatment once the triggering factor is addressed. Chronic insomnia persists for at least 3 nights per week for 3 months or longer. This type often requires professional treatment and can have serious impacts on health, work performance, and quality of life. Primary insomnia occurs independently without another underlying condition, while secondary insomnia results from medical conditions, medications, or other sleep disorders. Subtypes by timing. Sleep onset insomnia involves difficulty falling asleep initially. People with this type might lie awake for hours, their minds racing with worries, plans, or random thoughts. Sleep maintenance insomnia is characterized by frequent awakenings during the night or difficulty returning to sleep after awakening. This type becomes more common with aging. Early morning awakening involves waking up much earlier than desired and being unable to return to sleep. This pattern is often associated with depression and anxiety disorders. The vicious cycle of insomnia. Insomnia often creates a self-perpetuating cycle. Initial sleep difficulties lead to worry about sleep, which increases arousal and anxiety, making sleep even more difficult. People develop negative associations with their bedroom and bedtime, turning what should be a peaceful environment into a source of stress. Many people with insomnia try harder to sleep, which paradoxically makes sleep more elusive. Sleep is a natural process that occurs when we stop trying to control it, but insomnia sufferers often become hypervigilant about their sleep, monitoring every sensation and thought. Performance anxiety around sleep can develop, where fear of not sleeping becomes as disruptive as the original cause of insomnia. This psychological component often persists even after the initial trigger has been resolved. Risk factors and causes. Psychological factors. Stress, anxiety, depression, and trauma are major contributors to insomnia. Racing thoughts, worry, and hyperarousal can make it difficult to achieve the relaxed state necessary for sleep onset. Medical conditions. Chronic pain, respiratory problems, gastrointestinal issues, neurological disorders, and hormonal changes can all disrupt sleep. Medications. Stimulants, some antidepressants, corticosteroids, and other medications can interfere with sleep architecture and timing. Lifestyle factors. Irregular sleep schedules, excessive caffeine or alcohol consumption, lack of exercise, and poor sleep environment can contribute to insomnia. Age. Insomnia becomes more common with aging due to changes in sleep architecture, increased medical conditions, and medication use. Treatment approaches. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, CBTI, is considered the first-line treatment for chronic insomnia. This approach addresses both the behavioral and cognitive factors that maintain insomnia. Sleep restriction. Temporarily limiting time in bed to increase sleep efficiency. Stimulus control. Creating strong associations between the bed and sleep. Cognitive restructuring. Identifying and changing unhelpful thoughts about sleep. Sleep hygiene. Optimizing environmental and behavioral factors for sleep. Relaxation techniques. Teaching methods to reduce arousal and promote sleep. Medication can be helpful for short-term relief, but isn't recommended as a long-term solution for chronic insomnia. Sleep medications can create dependence, tolerance, and rebound insomnia when discontinued. Sleepwalking. The unconscious journey. Understanding sleepwalking. Sleepwalking, or somnambulism, is a fascinating sleep disorder that occurs during deep non-REM sleep, typically within the first few hours of sleep when slow-wave sleep is most prominent. During sleepwalking episodes, people engage in complex behaviors while remaining unconscious and having no memory of their actions upon awakening. Sleepwalking is much more common than many people realize, affecting approximately 4% of adults and up to 17% of children. The prevalence is highest in childhood and typically decreases with age, though adult sleepwalking can occur, and may be more dangerous due to the potential for more complex and risky behaviors. What happens during sleepwalking? During a sleepwalking episode, the motor cortex and other areas responsible for movement become active while the areas responsible for consciousness and memory formation remain in deep sleep. This creates the paradoxical situation where someone can walk, navigate obstacles, and even perform complex tasks while being completely unconscious. Sleepwalkers typically have a blank, staring expression and are difficult to awaken. They may appear confused or disoriented if awakened, and usually have no memory of the episode. The behaviors can range from simply sitting up in bed to complex activities like cooking, driving, or even leaving the house. Types of sleepwalking behaviors. Simple sleepwalking involves basic movements like sitting up, walking around the bedroom, or going to the bathroom. These episodes are usually brief and relatively harmless. Complex sleepwalking can involve elaborate behaviors such as cooking, cleaning, rearranging furniture, or attempting to leave the house. Some people have even been known to drive cars while sleepwalking, though this is extremely rare and dangerous. Aggressive sleepwalking occasionally occurs when sleepwalkers are approached or touched during an episode. Because they're not conscious, they may react defensively to what they perceive as threats. Causes and risk factors. Genetic factors. Sleepwalking has a strong genetic component. Children with one sleepwalking parent have a 45% chance of sleepwalking, while those with two sleepwalking parents have a 60% chance. Sleep deprivation. Lack of sleep increases the likelihood and intensity of sleepwalking episodes by increasing the depth of slow-wave sleep. Stress and anxiety. Emotional stress can trigger sleepwalking episodes in susceptible individuals. Medical conditions. Fever, sleep apnea, restless leg syndrome, and certain neurological conditions can increase sleepwalking risk. Medications. Some medications, particularly those affecting the central nervous system, can trigger sleepwalking episodes. Environmental factors. Unfamiliar sleeping environments, noise, light, or physical discomfort can sometimes trigger episodes. Safety concerns and management. Sleepwalking can be dangerous because the person is unconscious and may not recognize hazards. Common risks include falls down stairs or from heights, walking into walls, furniture, or glass doors, leaving the house and becoming lost or injured, attempting to drive or operate machinery, self-injury through confused or inappropriate actions. Safety measures for sleepwalkers include securing doors and windows with locks or alarms, removing obstacles and sharp objects from pathways, installing gates at the top of stairs, placing bells or alarms on bedroom doors, ensuring adequate lighting in hallways and rooms. Management strategies focus on reducing triggers, maintaining regular sleep schedules, ensuring adequate sleep duration, managing stress through relaxation techniques, treating underlying sleep disorders, creating a calm, comfortable sleep environment. Myths and misconceptions. Contrary to popular belief, it's not dangerous to wake a sleepwalker, though it may cause confusion and disorientation. The myth likely arose because awakened sleepwalkers may react with surprise or confusion, but there's no medical risk from waking them. Sleepwalkers are not acting out dreams. Sleepwalking occurs during non-REM sleep when dreaming is minimal. The behaviors are more automatic and less narrative than dream enactment. Most children outgrow sleepwalking as their nervous systems mature, but adult-onset sleepwalking may indicate underlying medical or psychological issues that should be evaluated by a healthcare provider. Nightmares. When dreams become frightening. The nature of nightmares. Nightmares are vivid, disturbing dreams that cause strong emotional responses, typically fear, anxiety, or terror. They occur most commonly during REM sleep, particularly in the second half of the night when REM periods are longer and more intense. Unlike night terrors, which occur during deep non-REM sleep, people usually remember nightmares vividly and may have difficulty returning to sleep afterward. Occasional nightmares are normal and experienced by most people at some point in their lives. However, when nightmares occur frequently and significantly impact sleep quality or daily functioning, they may constitute nightmare disorder, a recognized sleep condition. Nightmare content and themes. Nightmare content varies widely among individuals, but often includes common themes. Being chased, one of the most universal nightmare themes, possibly reflecting feelings of being overwhelmed or avoiding something in waking life. Falling, often associated with feelings of loss of control or fear of failure. Death or injury, whether to oneself or loved ones. These nightmares may reflect anxiety about mortality or loss. Being lost or trapped may represent feelings of confusion, helplessness, or being stuck in life situations. Natural disasters. Earthquakes, floods, or storms in dreams might symbolize overwhelming emotional experiences or major life changes. Interpersonal conflicts. Arguments or confrontations with family members, friends, or colleagues may reflect real relationship tensions. The neurobiology of nightmares. During nightmares, several brain regions show heightened activity. Amygdala. The brain's fear center becomes hyperactive, generating intense emotional responses. Visual cortex. Increased activity creates vivid, often bizarre imagery. Motor cortex may be active despite physical paralysis, contributing to sensations of running, fighting, or being unable to move. Prefrontal cortex. Reduced activity in areas responsible for logic and critical thinking explains why nightmare scenarios often seem plausible despite being impossible or illogical. The neurochemical environment during REM sleep, with reduced levels of norepinephrine associated with stress response, may allow for the processing of emotional memories without the full physiological stress response that would occur during waking hours. Risk factors and triggers. Psychological factors. Anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and other mental health conditions significantly increase nightmare frequency. PTSD nightmares often involve reliving traumatic events. Medications. Certain antidepressants, blood pressure medications, and other drugs can trigger nightmares as side effects. Sleep disruption. Irregular sleep schedules, sleep deprivation, or jet lag can increase nightmare occurrence. Physical factors. Eating late at night, fever, illness, or sleep disorders like sleep apnea can trigger nightmares. Substance use. Alcohol, recreational drugs, or withdrawal from substances can increase nightmare frequency and intensity. Life stress. Major life changes, work stress, relationship problems, or financial difficulties can manifest as nightmare content. Developmental aspects. Childhood nightmares are extremely common, with most children experiencing them between ages 3 to 6. Children's nightmares often involve monsters, animals, or fantastical threats. As cognitive development progresses, nightmare content becomes more realistic and complex. Adolescent nightmares may increase due to hormonal changes, academic stress, and identity formation challenges. Teenagers often report nightmares about failure, social rejection, or body image concerns. Adult nightmares typically reflect current life stressors, unresolved conflicts, or underlying mental health conditions. Adult nightmare content tends to be more realistic and psychologically complex than childhood nightmares. Cultural and individual variations. Nightmare content is influenced by cultural background, personal experiences, and individual fears. People from different cultures may have different typical nightmare themes based on cultural fears, beliefs, and experiences. Some individuals are more prone to nightmares due to personality traits like high sensitivity, creativity, or tendency toward anxiety. People with thin psychological boundaries, those who are highly empathetic and emotionally permeable, often experience more frequent and intense nightmares. Treatment and management. Imagery rehearsal therapy, IRT. This evidence-based treatment involves rewriting nightmare scenarios with positive endings and rehearsing the new version while awake. This technique can significantly reduce nightmare frequency and intensity. Lucid dreaming training. Teaching people to recognize when they're dreaming and take control of dream content can help them transform nightmares into neutral or positive dreams. Stress management. Addressing underlying stress through therapy, relaxation techniques, or lifestyle changes can reduce nightmare frequency. Sleep hygiene. Maintaining good sleep habits, regular schedules, and comfortable sleep environments can minimize nightmare triggers. Medication. In severe cases, certain medications like prazosin have shown effectiveness in reducing nightmare frequency, particularly in PTSD-related nightmares. Exposure therapy. For trauma-related nightmares, gradually exposing individuals to trauma-related stimuli in a safe therapeutic environment can reduce the emotional intensity of nightmare content. Freudian dream symbolism. The royal road to the unconscious. Freud's revolutionary theory. Sigmund Freud famously declared that the interpretation of dreams is the royal road to a knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind. His 1900 book, The Interpretation of Dreams, fundamentally changed how Western culture thinks about dreams and their meaning. According to Freudian theory, dreams serve as wish fulfillment. They allow us to experience desires that are unacceptable or impossible in waking life. Freud believed that dreams protect sleep by providing a safe outlet for repressed impulses and conflicts that might otherwise wake us up. The structure of dreams. Freud distinguished between the manifest content of dreams, what we actually remember and can describe, and the latent content, the hidden unconscious meaning. He believed that dreams undergo a process called dream work, which transforms unconscious desires into symbolic form to make them acceptable to the conscious mind. Dream work consists of several mechanisms. Condensation. Multiple ideas, memories, or people are combined into single dream elements. One person in a dream might represent characteristics of several people from the dreamer's life. Displacement. Emotional significance is transferred from important elements to seemingly trivial ones. You might dream about being angry at a stranger when you're actually angry at someone close to you. Symbolization. Abstract ideas or forbidden impulses are represented through concrete symbols that disguise their true meaning. Secondary revision. The mind attempts to create a coherent narrative from the bizarre elements of dreams, though the logic often remains dreamlike and impossible. Classic Freudian symbols. Freud identified numerous symbols that he believed had universal meaning across cultures. Phallic symbols. Objects that are longer than they are wide: trees, poles, weapons, tools, or vehicles, were thought to represent male sexuality. Female symbols. Enclosed spaces like houses, caves, boxes, or vessels were interpreted as representing the female body or sexuality. Birth symbols. Dreams of water, swimming, or emerging from enclosed spaces were thought to represent birth fantasies or desires to return to the womb. Death symbols. Journeys, particularly train trips, were often interpreted as representations of death or major life transitions. Authority figures. Kings, presidents, or other powerful figures in dreams were thought to represent the dreamer's father or authority conflicts. The Oedipal complex in dreams. Central to Freudian dream theory was the Oedipal complex, the unconscious desire for the opposite-sex parent and rivalry with the same-sex parent. Freud believed this complex appeared symbolically in many dreams through various disguised forms. Dreams involving competition, conflict with authority figures, or romantic scenarios with inappropriate partners were often interpreted as expressions of Oedipal desires. While this interpretation is largely rejected by modern psychology, it remains historically significant for understanding how Freud viewed the unconscious mind. Sexual symbolism. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of Freudian dream interpretation, was the emphasis on sexual symbolism. Freud believed that many, if not most, dreams contain disguised sexual content because Victorian society heavily repressed sexual expression.